Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce mediation and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss preserving a family business when the owners divorce with Bob Boyd. He's a divorce lawyer in Atlanta. He's also the co-founder of Boyd, Collar, Nolen, Tuggle, and Roddenbery, and is a leader in family law who has received recognition from his colleagues across Georgia and the nation for his work in high net worth divorce litigation and contested custody cases. I think this is kind of a trick question, but not every situation needs a full-blown valuation, right? And not always. If you don't have a business, like sometimes you don't have a business, and you're just like, but we have a lot of different assets, right? Mm-hmm. So these financial people that you can get involved may have different knowledge about pensions or, stock options. Sometimes you just have an executive, right? Mm-hmm. But in these divorces where you see a business, do you always say we have to have a business valuation? Or are there some cases or some situations that it's like, it's a single person or it's a smaller entity? What do you think about that?
I don't think you always need a business valuation in every case. I think let me say it like this. In most of the cases that I handle, I like to have a financial expert to help me with the marital balance sheet, to make sure we don't stub our toe on properly dividing certain retirement assets, on properly dividing benefits of employment, such as stock option plans. Mm-hmm. But if it's, for instance, if you have just a lawyer in a law firm, are you going to try to value that law firm? No, because his interest is pretty transparent. As a solo practitioner, are you going to try to value his practice? No, because most of the value is him. It's goodwill. And in Georgia, goodwill doesn't count toward the valuation. So, obviously it's a case-by-case analysis, but I would tell you, if you have some assets and if they have any complexity, and by any complexity, I mean a pension plan, stock option plan, things like that, you need to have this other person to make sure that you get the asset that you're bargaining to get, and you don't somehow not get it properly allocated.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that sometimes the business owners do have a decent idea about the value of the business. Most of the time, I will say they think the business is worth way more than it is until they get divorced, and then it's worth nothing. That's but right. In that capacity, a lot of times what I tell clients is, we can run numbers, we can get an idea, what's the reasonable range of value? Because that's really where you want to settle, is somewhere in there, right?
That's right.
But also our job there is to convince the other attorney that they should kind of be scared that we're involved. Like, sure. That's kind of what I want to do. But also that we're prepared. So we're prepared. We've reviewed the documents. We know what is separate. We've done the analysis. And when they see that on the other side, they might be like, oh, we haven't hired any experts. We haven't even looked at the documents. They might move towards settlement, and that might be because money isn't always all the issues in divorce. There could be other things that we want to keep quiet.
For
right?
Sure. For sure. And frankly, it kind of goes back to something we talked about at the start, and that is, if you've been running personal expenses through the business a little more aggressively than you should, it's in nobody's interest to sit in a courtroom and have somebody testify about all that, because then you run the risk of other people getting involved.